Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad podcast with Chris Finn, a production of P4S Golf. Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad. My name is Chris Finn and I'm your host. And today we are going to talk about the new year golf fitness plan that you need to be focused on. Okay. Now, obviously at P4S Golf, we have custom private coaching. We have in-house stuff if you're local to the Raleigh area. We have virtual on-demand stuff if you're looking for something less high touch and don't necessarily want private coaching. All that aside, and that's obviously you can check that out at any time at p4sgolf.com or par4success.com. But what we're going to talk about today is going to be more so about the general idea of if you're going to try to do this on your own, what in the world should you be focused on? There are so many things. If you go on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess now that it's called, right? TikTok, wherever you go, there is so much crap out there. Like how there's, then we're not even talking about Golf Magazine, Golf Digest, all the different options that are there, right? There's tons of workouts. So my goal is to cut through all of that BS and just give you a straight line approach to being fit for, this coming year and doing the right stuff. So, if you've listened to the pod before, you've heard me talk about kind of a pyramid type, setup and focus points. And that's, I think, whether you want to think about it vertically or whether you want to think about it kind of in buckets, that's how we're going to do it today. So the first bucket is the single most important bucket. It's probably not the least exciting bucket, but it is one that everybody needs. Literally 9 out of 10 people that we test fail something in the realm, in the mobility realm. And we're talking rotationally. So we're talking shoulder external rotation, which is if you take your trail shoulder and your arm and you put it back like you're going to throw a baseball or a football, right? You rotate your hand back behind your shoulder. That is shoulder external rotation. Incredibly important for you to set the club at the top of your backswing on your trail side, drop it into the slot, all those sorts of things. If you don't have that, then you will have back issues. You'll have elbow issues. You'll have wrist issues. You'll come over the top. You're going to be steep. Like the list goes on. Okay. So second rotary area that you have to make sure you're good at is the hip internal rotation. That's going to be your ability to rotate into your trail hip and into your lead side through impact. Now, we do have, make sure that we put the link in the bio here to the home assessment. It's free. It's online. So you can actually test yourselves on everything in this bucket, guys. Okay. So definitely make sure you check that out in the show notes. It's also available at par4success.com. But this bucket, literally you can test right now. So there's no excuse for you not to do it. It takes less than 5 minutes and it's totally free. Okay. The third area is going to be your trunk rotation. So it's your, in golf, a lot of people call it your shoulder turn, how much turn you get, obviously to your trail side and to your lead side. And then the fourth and final area that really matters from a golf performance standpoint is your neck rotation. Okay. If you don't pass all of those 4 areas, that's the first area that has to be addressed. Unequivocally, the single most important area that you have to address in order to have a successful year come this year. Now, the next area, or the next second bucket, is going to be your stability work, right? So this would be, think of it as stuff you might do at physical therapy, your small band work, your single leg work, whether it's single leg RDLs or single leg step ups, kind of lunge type work where there's balance involved. For your shoulders, it may be more like rotator cuff type things. You could think of, core work, on stability balls, those sorts of things. Just making sure that you have good control of the joints. So step 1 is to get the mobility. And obviously within mobility, trying to keep this to 10 minutes or so, so we'll try not to get too into depth, but within the mobility bucket, that first bucket, there's obviously, can you get to that range of motion passively? B, can you then actively move the joint through that, on your own against gravity? And then, level 3, can you do it, against resistance? Okay. That kind of flows into the stability second bucket, which is, are you stable in your shoulders and in your hips and in your core? Those are the big areas that you really want to focus on being stable. Okay. Now we're going to go to the third bucket, which is strength. I did an episode on this, mid 30s, I believe. I talked about the big four strength exercises that actually matter. When you go to the gym and you're working on your strength, you need to be doing something push strength, vertical lower body strength, pull strength. So think of like a vertical or horizontal pull. So think a bent over row or a pull up or a lat pull, something along those lines. You also need to be doing something like a bench press, a chest press element. You do not need to do overhead presses, ladies and gentlemen. It puts your shoulders at risk and it adds zero to your golf game. So please, no, don't waste your time with those. Third area would then be something squat focused as well as something basically hinge focused. So think of a deadlift or a kettlebell swing is more hinge focused. A box squat, a barbell squat, a goblet squat, something along those lines is going to be more squat focused, right? Knee dominant. Those are the four areas you need to have in your program on your strength side of things. The final phase is then your power side of things, right? So that's looking at upper body push power and lower body vertical power. So jumping type moves, or whether it's depending how your joints are, you could do plyometrics, you could do jumps, you could do drop jumps. There's lots of different variations of jumping that you can do. If your joints are no good and impact is not an option, then you can look at things like overhead vertical slams with medicine balls. You can look at lots of different ways to create vertical power without necessarily jumping. Okay. That's another great kind of hack for those of you who don't have the greatest of joints. The final area is then the upper body push power. So think med ball against a wall, laying on your back, throwing it up to the up to the sky, catching it, explode, basically rebounding it off your chest and then exploding it back up. Just watch your face on that one, please. But that is kind of a quick overview of mobility, the stability, moving up to the strength, and then moving up to the power. The final, if you do, and this is where we also have the other thing I would encourage every single person listening is to check out and know what is your safe swing speed. What is your safe swing speed today going into this new year? If you don't know what that is we can, basically it's a calculation based off of your mobility and your power metrics relative to your current club head speed. Most of you listening are swinging faster than what your body can handle based on your mobility and your power numbers. And when that is the case, if you attempt to then go after speed, which unfortunately I know tens of thousands of golfers are going to do this offseason, is chase speed when they should not, because their body can't handle it and then they're going to get hurt. But if that thought is in your head, I want to pick up speed, please take that home assessment. The link, like I said, the link's in the bio. It then will actually give you your safe swing speed. So you can calculate and see very clearly, literally in less than 5 minutes for free, where do you stand? Are you cleared basically to go after speed safely with a very low risk of getting injured? Or are you a ticking time bomb who literally, if you go after speed, you're going to explode, right? Those are the things that you need to do that take some personal responsibility coming into this off season and into this golf season, getting ready for it. Know where you're at, know what you should be doing, and know where you should be starting, right? And if at any point anyone you have questions, obviously reach out and we'll certainly be happy to help you and give you guidance on the type of areas you need to go to specifically for you. But in general, if you're trying to DIY this thing this year, you got your mobility, you got your stability, you move up to your strength in the 4 big lifts, and you have your power in the 2 big power areas. And then if your mobility is clean, if you have good strength, if your power numbers are high enough relative to where your current speed is, then we go chase speed. All right. And that is the key. That is the formula, the recipe for a very successful, year coming up on the golf course. That is based off science. That's not going to change from one year to the next. But hopefully that gives you kind of a good overview of the DIY way to approach a intelligent golf performance plan this season. So go out, crush it. Let us know if you need any guidance or have questions. We're here for you. Appreciate you as always listening to the pod, here on the Bomb Squad. And hopefully we've streamlined a little bit of the thoughts, gotten rid of some of those potential bombs that were out there in terms of bad exercises that you may have picked up. Hopefully this gives you a very clear idea of what you should be doing this year.